Okay, Parshas Vaera. So you see that this is already the Parsha now where the Makkah started. So it's very interesting also that the first three Makkahs, Moshe Rabbeinu couldn't hit. Not the water, not the offer. And Rashi says because he had a place, he had Megan, he had a protection. In other words, when he's going to kill the Mitzri, he saw the Mitzri hitting a Yid, so he went along and he had to take care of the Mitzri. So he killed him, and put him in the dirt. So now, he had a place to put him. That's a Makir Toiv. You have to have Akaras HaToiv. So, Akaras HaToiv. I mean, what happened when he put him into the dirt? Next day he comes back again, he meets Dasan and Amira. Oh, Moshe Rabbeinu starts getting involved in their fight. And they tell him, Hala Hargeni, I told you, you're going to kill me too like you did to that Mitzri yesterday. Moshe Rabbeinu gets all, what? You saw me and now you're going to tell Paro? You mean tell Turi? What? And then they did. They informed Paro. Moshe Rabbeinu gets taken to Paro. And they want to execute him. His neck has to turn to marble. And then everybody, like Rashi says, Akash Baruch Hu made Paro and Yelen, he was mute. And then the people, executioners, couldn't see him and he ran away. And he fled. So what happened to him? Because he killed the Mitzri, and he put him in the ground. If he wouldn't have killed the Mitzri, put him in the ground, it wouldn't have happened. So one second. So Akaras HaToiv is what? What's Akaras HaToiv over here? It didn't help him. It got him in trouble because he had the place to put the Mitzri, so he killed him. And now he has to run for his life. Makir Toiv, if the Akaras HaToiv to the ground. What's Akaras HaToiv? It ended up being his downfall. So either you can say Pshat, very simple, is that he saved the Yid. He killed the Mitzri. He's hitting a Jew. At that moment, he had a place how to save the Jew and put him in the ground. What happened afterwards? Okay, I better have a Akaras HaToiv for the moment. First has to recognize the Toiv and everything, so he's making that Toiv. But Mitzad Sheni, look at the Toiv that did happen from that. L'maisa, he was taken to be executed. It's not an interesting thing. So Rashi says that Moshe Rabbeinu, when he's having a dialogue with HaKadosh Baruch Hashem, says, go take the Yidden out. I said, I can't speak. Hashem says, who gave the power to a person to be able to speak? I take care of that. Who makes it Yelen? And Rashi says, Hashem made Paro mute. When? Because Paro, now, he gave the orders to kill Moshe. But after the executioner tried to kill him, Moshe Rabbeinu's neck turned to marble. So now Paro was muted. He didn't keep pushing to kill Moshe. And the executioners, they became the people, his officers, became deaf. They didn't hear Paro. And the executioners became blind. They didn't see him running away. I mean, why didn't Hashem just make Paro mute before in the first place and didn't have to give the orders? Or if Paro did give the orders, why did the officers become deaf then? No, Paro had to give the orders, and they had to listen to it, and they had to try to execute Moshe, and then Moshe Rabbeinu runs away, because everybody's out of commission. Paro can't speak, they can't see. So, 1 second, take that, reverse that, and don't do the thing in the first place, make everybody mute. But on the contrary, Moshe Rabbeinu had to see. Paro did speak, and then he became mute. In other words, he gave the order, Hashem made Moshe Rabbeinu's neck turn to marble, and then they couldn't see, they couldn't hear. Hashem is controlling everything. If I can't, you're seeing you're in the matzav, it's a difficult situation, you survived it, and then you ran away to Midian. What happens to Midian? Besides, like a Medrash, he became a king in Kush for 40 years, whatever that was there too. But what he ended up marrying, he got a wife, Yecheved, and he ended up having children. Why? Because of the offer. And he became the Goyal Yisrael in Mitzrayim. He was the one to come now and save them because he had to come from Midian. So, in essence, that was all the trigger that made everything happen. It's like the Medrash Taka says by Yisrael with his daughters, Ish Mitzri Tzilon, they said in Ish Mitzri, the Medrash says, because they said to Moshe Rabbeinu, thank you saved us. Moshe Rabbeinu pushed away all the people, pushing them away. And said, thank you. He said, don't thank me, thank the Mitzri. Which Mitzri? The one he killed. Because he killed them, so he ended up being here. He was able to save them at that moment. So really, if the person looks back and sees everything, you talk about Kars HaToiv. Many times that things look to be terrible, and at that moment but look, if you follow the sequence of things taking place, and you'll realize later, if you're zeicher to see it, you start to see how much Toiv came out because of those things too. So, Kars HaToiv. Anyway, Moshe Rabbeinu tells Paroi, okay, tell me when you want the Tzvadeya to stop. So Paroi says, tomorrow. Because, Paroi can test him out, see if he's saying the truth. Tomorrow. I mean, if we have any hasaga of what these makkahs were, like we say in the Seder, every makkah was not just one makkah, it was 4 times, 5 times a makkah. What's a makkah? Take blood. Blood. Okay, so you can't drink. It turns into water, just can't drink. If all the water turns into blood, you know how much sicknesses come about from blood? And you can't wash it off, you can't clean yourself. You're sick. You can't cook food. Everything about the water is, and the whole place becomes infested. The bugs and the germs and everything. You have to recognize that a guy doesn't drink. How long does it take for 2 days? The person's famished. It's his whole system that he has in his body. We don't appreciate how much we gain from we drink water, the fluids that we put into our body. It's not just water. You have to recognize the whole makkah that took place of 7 days worth of this makkah, exacerbated by the fact of each part of magnified whatever the makkah was doing. So let's think. Tzvadeya comes, it's frogs. Now the frogs are not just cute little things jumping around. I mean, it seems like they got into everything they did. Sticking to the guy's mouth, his nose sticking out. He went to the bowel movement, sticking out a frog. A person in Rahman that has a hemorrhoids experience. The pain that's there. And these people that the pain, imagine trying to go to sleep and there's frogs all over you. And you can't sleep. Imagine just the sleep part of it that a person doesn't have. Imagine going 1 day without sleep, 2 days without sleep, 3 days without sleep. They're bothersome and they're all over. They're sticking in your food. And again, it's magnified 4 times over what the makkah is. So the pain, the intense pain of having these frogs around, and the Moshe gives the power the option. So when would you like the makkah to stop? Now! A person would get out now! No. Power, he's tough man. He's a king. He's not power for nothing. Tomorrow. That means he's willing to endure another 24 hours of this pain. Him and his people are screaming in pain. You hear people screaming and screeching. You're talking about we don't even understand the noises that were taking place. We walk down the street. There's a country writing in pain. And Pharaoh says, tomorrow, that's good. Morgans. Why? Because we're going to see if Moshe Rabbeinu saying the emes of that. So it's worth enduring 24 hours of this pain. We want to see the emes. Is it true? Moshe Rabbeinu is tak emes. He could have done it at night, whatever it was, but he's willing. And what happens? Yeah. Moshe Rabbeinu, everything he said came true. No, we're not letting the Jews out anymore. What's Mashiach? Go through each makkah. It's no volume. All right, I still can't fathom the concept of all right. I mean, you're talking about lions in the street. The person panics. You're scared. You're terrified. Elephants. You're talking about bears. You're talking about just the terror of seeing all this. People screech again. The elephants come and you crushes your wall. Your house is broken. The things came into your house. I mean, terrifying. It's how do people? It's impossible for us to even fathom what that means. No. What happens after the Makkahs are 7 days? No, not dangerous. I mean, revolution. See, power. The power number one. The power on his people is the king. We don't view that we have a democratic society. We can understand a little bit. We look at the other countries on the Mideast. We get the picture of sometimes tyrants and these type of people. The shlita there. You understand that power he had, and the people. Okay, they start they start moving. That movement starts growing, but it's a narrative that they're able to have the endurance of the makkah. We go weiter. We're going to go weiter. And so what's pshat in that? There's so much difficulty to understand over here, but you see tremendous human nature. Chaim Stein used to say that power is not a meshuggah. And we look at these people as crazy. He's like, oh, Meshigoyim in the Welt. Meshigoyim. What's in the Torah for? History. It's to teach us. Torah is teaching. It teaches us human nature. It tells us about ourselves. That we also have this paroi syndrome and people like this. How many times do you see in life, MS, we see truth and we see, hey, it should inspire us. We should change. And we say, now we're going to change it. What happens in the next minute? Back to normal, right? The typical Matziyim Kippur, Ne'ilah, we're going to... And we find ourselves slipping back. What do you mean? What happened? You got inspired. We understood. The seichel was there. The intelligence told us what to do. Human nature, it slips back. The power is teaching us. And what happens is, after Chaim, after 5 Makkos, he was himself, Makshes Liboy. Then Hashem was Makshes Liboy. It means a person, Chalila, can lose, in a certain sense, some form of that Bechira that if enough times a person gets the warnings and doesn't pick up on the Chas v'Shalom, then he can't find himself getting out of it. It's a moedic point that a person has to recognize to himself. And you see that Yidden didn't leave 4/5 state of Mitzrayim. I mean, it's a Noivoy. And more than that is like, Seichel, you had a Makkah, and now Moshe will tell you another Makkah is coming. So he's got a good track record, Moshe Rabbeinu. Every Makkah he said came. And it's 3 weeks of warning. 1 week was the Makkah, 3 weeks of warning. So Moshe Rabbeinu got it right the first time. I'm going to go through another Makkah. We're getting ready for this new Makkah that's coming. We're going to brace ourselves. It's going to be such a Makkah for 7 more days. I mean, if every time Moshe Rabbeinu said it's coming and it's going to come, so why would we just not give in right now already? It's going to happen. It's not like, no, we're going to go through another one of these. We're going to suffer. And what's happened then? Another one? Something's going to have to give somewhere, sometime, someplace. So why prolong the agony? Just give in now. If you give in now, that means that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did run the show over here. That means that everything we were doing here, we were pawns in the hands of HaKadosh Baruch Hu for his reason to go along and do the people. You have to give up who we are. In other words, we thought we're the lords. We thought we're the ones who are tormenting the Jewish people. We're the boss. No, we're just pawns in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's hands. The recognition that you lose your self-identity in the sense, I'm the one. It's a person doesn't want to lose his self, what he is, what he thinks he is. It's the Hakarsa Emes, of the Emes, of the ultimate Emes. This is a Bari Olam's whole control. That's people very difficult to give up. That means like everybody. How come scientists, they see the world? Now already a lot of scientists recognize, of course, there's a Bari Olam. But the people officially, they're involved, seeing the brilliance of what the creation is, and they're not my minim. That's what Bechonan Seim's word. Because if you recognize the truth, then you have to abide by the truth, and you have to recognize the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you have to follow. And you lose your own self. That's the gears. A person has to be turned. It's very difficult for a person to do that. So Mela, I'm going to hold on as long as I can. My turn, whatever however the human nature will allow ourselves to put ourselves in that massive. But the resilience of human nature is very strong. That's the same point over and over. And that's Vaera. It's teaching us about ourselves. And it's all for us. And that's what Rashi said. All this purpose was for us. And Rashi said, Ani Aksha Hashem, I'm going to harden Paroi. Because, says Rashi, because since he was in Russia, and it's Galui Lefanai, Rashi says, the Baruch Hashem says, Ein Nachas Ruach B'Umois. Lost his lave, Shalem Lashuv. They're not going to do tshuva. So it's better that I should use them and to make all these isos takira atem. You Klal Yisrael should be makir my gvura. They're pawns for helping us Yidden that we should learn from that. He brings pranas al umais kadesh yishmo Yisrael v'yiro. He brings a pasuk in Tzfanya, and the whole purpose of the goyim getting it is to teach us Klal Yisrael, and that's the whole Yisrael, and therefore. I'm not the one Chalila to say, but if we look around the world today, again, just the last 3 months, we have all this media giving us all information. Hurricanes. In the last couple of months, volcanoes, earthquakes, several places. fires in Australia countries, fires. What's the purpose of all this? The pasuk says it's for what we are supposed to learn from there. Tikchi musar, fear Hashem alone, and take musar from there. And what do? We don't even know what's happening. It's a piece of news. We see ads, help Australia with some gelt or something. Well, what's it not to do with me? It has everything to do with me. That's the whole purpose. The whole purpose of all these things is for us, for Klal Yisrael, take musar, fear Hashem. And so all these things are taking place in the world, taking place before our very eyes. We get the media, you get pictures, you can see it live, you can see all of these things. We have more access today with all of this media that we can see it on site as it's happening. And what's Hashaychus? What does it do with me? Nothing. It's just like news. It's a news item. What news for what? What's the purpose of all that? It's for us. So how can we sleep? The same thing as Mitzrayim. And it's like the 4/5 in Eben Rachman al that didn't get the picture. Seeing Makkah's taking place in Mitzrayim, it's for us. Not everyone gets it. We have to daven and recognize the Kodesh Baruch Hu should endow us with the open eyes, recognize it. And the Gemara says that besides this pasuk, Ein pranas b'laylam ela b'shvil Yisrael. It's all coming for Klal Yisrael. That's the purpose of it. So at least Klal Yisrael we have to wake up and realize that this is a message to us. And as I brought down to Visrotsky in his Kuntras, I think there's about 10 Savoys, 10 different worlds, shattering things happen, is before Mashiach comes. It's for us, you have to wake up and do tshuva. And then we can anticipate the Gula. This is Chumash HaGula. This is when the things to see in the world that can create within us a tremendous opportunity that we should anticipate the Gula, we should be zeicher to the Gula.